Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. As always, if you're new to the channel, this is Wind Waker Unflooded, a 3D modeling project all about reimagining what the land of Hyrule would look like in the art style of the Wind Waker. This is a fan art project just all about imagining this world that we've always been told was out there but never got to see in the game. Of course, we've seen Hyrule in other games, and that's definitely informing this project. But I do think a big part of my curiosity for this was just imagining how would things fit into the world of the Wind Waker. As you know from playing the game, you know that all the islands of the Great Sea are the mountaintops of Hyrule, but we never really get to see how those islands connect to each other. We know that they're the mountaintops, but what do the mountains look like? And this project is just all about bringing that to life. We get to explore a small section of Hyrule in the actual game, but only a small part, just a little path near the castle. And so there's so much that goes unshown that we see parts of through the overworld. And so this project is just all about connecting all of those dots and together realizing what the world of Hyrule would look like within the world and the art style of the Wind Waker. This is Wind Waker Unflooded. Welcome aboard. Yeah, I hope that I don't know, I feel like YouTube's been really good about recommending it to new viewers, so if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. I hope you enjoy this video. This is definitely, we get some better work done in this video. This is just, sometimes some videos are more about polishing things, and this is like my first video on the Lanayru mining facility was just kind of just about laying out the basic shapes. There wasn't a lot that was happening, and sometimes there's videos that, are like that. That's part of the process, right? And I've really appreciated that y'all are along for the ride on videos where I'm getting a lot done and it looks pretty, but also for videos where I'm not getting as much done and it's just, just kind of whittling away, because that is the nature of this project, right? And for any given hour that I might work on the project, it can range as far as like, am I really creating something beautiful within that hour? Am I just kind of whittling away at something? Am I just kind of unwrapping textures and figuring out that stuff? Is it, a little more, it almost feels administrative at that point, right? And that's 3D work in general, right? Sometimes you're really able to be creative and generative. That's a word I like to use, right? That's more exciting to me, to be generative, to be adding new things, creating new things. And sometimes you're just polishing, and it's just kind of just like sanding away, it feels like. And, in any of my videos, I may be doing either. I've talked before about how, while I'm 3D modeling, there are kind of like 4 different philosophies I might have at any given time. And I wrote them down somewhere. I don't have them on me, but those are also true. It's, I think it's, if I can remember the list, I'm either recreating a location scene from a previous game, so I'm creating something from reference. I'm either just connecting the dots between things I've already created, just kind of, creating some pathways or walkways. I may be, what's the third thing? I can't even name them all. I may be creating something new from scratch, not based on any reference. Of course. And what's the 4th thing? Comment down below what that 4th thing is. I've totally forgotten, but yeah, that's embarrassing anyway. But at any point, it's like I may be doing any of those. I may be creating something from new or from scratch, something new from scratch, or I may be replicating something or filling in the blanks or something else, whatever that something else is. I forget what that was, but anyway, it just, but the point is, like, in different videos, I'm at different points on that process and performing different, not all modeling is equal modeling, it's not all the same, it's not all creative in the same way, even though it is all creative. And of course that also speaks to just like my relationship to the material. Sometimes I am really trying to replicate things we've seen in other games, trying to really make it feel to a Hyrule that we've already seen, a Hyrule that we already know. But largely, I feel like there's a lot of freedom with the project, and I'm really excited by that. Just the fact that, like, I'm able to make new things and do things in new ways, and that's what really excites me, is that this is an opportunity to really make something new. You know, and I know that there's a lot of you that I don't know, not to put words in your mouth, but I feel like there's definitely people that would be happy with this project if it wasn't offering anything new, and that's fine. But like if it was just like, you know, let's just see Hyrule in a new art style. But like something I value is like I want to bring something new to the table. I want to offer my own perspective, even in small ways, and definitely like that's showing up in small ways, just like the philosophies that I have about things that I find beautiful, and you know, bringing in my own experience and places that I've seen. They're making their way into the map for sure already, but definitely I want that to manifest not just in small ways but larger ways as well. And you know, definitely we can talk more about all of that perhaps after this short message. I think it's a perfect time in the video for a short break. I will check back with you all after this message.
If you want to be able to support me as a creator, there's several ways that you can do that. Become a member on Patreon. It gives you access to exclusive bonus features and early access content in all of my filmmaking projects. Stuff like early access to scripts that I'm writing, storyboards, previs, rough cuts, and music that I compose. I'm a composer, and any music that you've heard in the background of this video was my music. So go to Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you listen to music and type in Joe Kendrick. That's JoeKendrick. Look up Joe Kendrick on Spotify.
And we're back. I gotta remind you of how you can support me as a creator. You know, I can't let you forget it. Like I always say, these videos are not monetized. If there's an ad on the video, it's because YouTube put it there. I'm not making any ad revenue from these videos. I don't want to make ad revenue from these videos. I don't want this project to be monetized. But I do want to encourage you to support me as a creator, and there are ways that you can do that I've already told you. So, but I mean, like, this project is, you know, like I talk a lot about how I want to be true to the Zelda fan community, and I want everyone to feel like this world fits in the way that they've been able to imagine Hyrule in the Wind Waker for the past 20 years, because all we've been able to do is imagine it, and of course, like, have reference from other games, and Hyrule has appeared in other games, but that question of, like, what does it look like in the world of the Wind Waker, that has gone unanswered, and we've all imagined it for 20 years, and I want to be true to that idea of how do we all imagine it, but I also want to, you know, incorporate my own ideas. This is my project, and my own journeys of places that I've been and the things that I've seen, and just all of these little places that I've been and thought, this reminds me of something in Hyrule that I've seen but only saw a part of, and this in real life feels like I'm seeing the inspiration. You know, I can imagine what it would be like to be a Nintendo developer and go, I want to incorporate this idea from my travels, this thing that inspires me, and I want to put all these things that inspire me into the world, and I want to encourage y'all to suggest, you know, to me, locations that inspire you. Of course, I definitely I encourage y'all's voice. I want y'all's voice to be heard. I want y'all to feel like y'all's voices are being heard, because like I said, I want this to be like something that we can all share. I've said this all before, so I'm just repeating myself, but yeah, like these are all things that I value, and I do repeat myself a lot in videos, and it's just because I feel aware that not everyone is watching every video, and videos may be appearing to new subscribers that haven't seen anything from the channel before. So I think there's things that are worth repeating, but definitely, like, if you're someone who watches every video, there may be things that you've heard before, but all this to say is that I do really value y'all's feedback, and I just want to make sure that anyone that's new to the channel here's that like, if you're seeing something and you're going, oh, I would have done this differently, or I'm imagining this differently, I want you to feel like your voice can be heard, and feel free to comment down below any ideas you have, comments, questions, concerns, feedback, negative feedback, even notes, any note that you have. Feel free to comment down below. I welcome that, because I want y'all to feel like I'm doing right by y'all. You know, because I'm just one guy, but we can all put our heads together to be able to think through these things. So kind of on that front, I want to also just kind of ask y'all for y'all's opinions. I like doing that in videos so that, you know, y'all can comment down below your answers to various questions about, like, the way that y'all are imagining things and what y'all want to see. And who knows, maybe by the time that this video comes out, I've already kind of started on this, but I guess I've want to ask how y'all think about trains in the world of Hyrule. I think I've brought it up in previous videos, but I've been talking to the community about like having a small line running through Hyrule, especially connecting Hyrule Castle Town to Death Mountain. And I just kind of want to just gauge the way y'all feel about various things, because I do think I want to be careful about that. Like train tracks can become a very prominent feature, and this especially like being creative in this way, like I don't necessarily want it to like pop out of the map and be distracting. But I do think that they'd be a really cool thing to have that would tie the world together and kind of communicate functionality of the world and show trade between regions in the same way that I think a port would be really cool, right? And showing that ships can travel from the Hyrule Castle Town to Lake Hylia to the coast, and have that trade transportation be really accessible, just because there are so many mountains in the world, right? So there are a lot of paths that are not really made even for carriages. There's a lot of pedestrian walkways, just because if there's like a settlement on an island at the top of a mountain, it's hard to access that stuff. And so ports, I think, are a great way to do that. Trains, I think, are a great way to do that. And I guess I just want to like ask y'all to comment down below whether that's something that you think could occupy a lot of the world, or whether you want to like how you imagine tying that in, because I think there's definitely ways to incorporate that into bridges that are already out there, right? We have the Bridge of Eldin, we have the Bridge of Hylia, Lake Hylia. Those could be really good ways of kind of creating places for train tracks throughout the world already that are already there. There could be tunnels going into mountains, so it's not too distracting either. Those could be really cool. And that could be a way of like, I don't want to spend like a whole lot of energy on interior locations, but I do like the idea of kind of getting into some cave systems. And even if that's like, I want to prioritize right now stuff that's going to be visible from the outside. That's my first priority before anything else overall, but tunnels are something that I think could be useful and could be interesting. So I'm definitely open to doing all that. So I guess just like comment down below any ideas you have about the infrastructure of Hyrule, because that is something that I think about, and I don't lose sleep over it. And there's stuff that like is just not designed with like like cars or carriages in mind, and I think that that's okay. Hyrule is not a car-based society, and this is even something I've thought about in Tears of the Kingdom, which I think is really interesting, that the way it's designed, you can build cars, and I don't want to say too much just to avoid spoilers still at this point, because I know there's people still playing the game, but just to think about it, I've thought about like you can build cars, but there's a lot of the map where a car is like only going to get you so far because you want to go somewhere else and you have to climb a mountain. And this map is similar, like it's very mountainous, so it's like I can design paths and have them be accessible, but there's also a lot of waterways and hills and mountains where car infrastructure is not going to be super useful, even in the city of Castletown. I want to prioritize pedestrian walkways in Castletown. And there can be places for like if a train's coming by, it can unload, and there can be like kind of a space for that, a little station. But I think in general, like if you're going throughout the town, going through your day-to-day life, I want it to be more focused on just walking from place to place, as I think it is in Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess. I think the precedent we have for Castletown is pedestrian focused. Breath of the Wild is just kind of the one exception, possibly because it seems very open to horse-drawn carriages in a new way. But we also don't really get to explore that version of Castletown, and there's things we just don't really know. But yeah, I think generally in Zelda, Castletown, in Minish Cap especially, for instance, too, is a very pedestrian-focused version of Castletown. But anyway, I think it's about time to wrap up the video. Y'all, just as always, thank you so much for watching. I do have to remind you how you can support me as a creator. If you're interested, feel free to become a member on Patreon. It gives you exclusive behind-the-scenes access to all kinds of bonus features, early access to music that I compose, scripts that I write, storyboards, previs, rough cuts, all kinds of stuff. Feel free to listen to my music on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you listen to music. Any music that you've heard in the background of this video was my music. So feel free to type in Joe Kendrick, that's JoeKendrick, wherever you listen to music. That's all I got. I'll let y'all go.